In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on October 28, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Ohio State versus Wisconsin. This Saturday, Ohio State faces off against Wisconsin in a Big Ten showdown on the road. The Buckeyes are riding high after their impressive victory over Penn State. Currently ranked number 3 in the nation, Ohio State boasts a flawless 7-0 record, including a perfect 4-0 in conference play. On the other side, the Badgers are 5-2 this season with a 3-1 record in the Big Ten, and they lead the Big Ten West Division, coming off a road win against Illinois. Ohio State continues its unbeaten run this year, coming off a significant 20-12 win over Penn State last week. The Buckeyes held a 10-6 lead at halftime, and their defense shut down Penn State's comeback attempts in the second half. Ohio State outgained Penn State with a total of 365-240 and limited them to a mere 1-16 on third down conversions. The Buckeyes had earlier defeated Notre Dame on the road this season. Ohio State's offense is potent, averaging 34 points per game with 304.9 passing yards and 127 rushing yards per game, while converting 42.9% of third downs. Quarterback Kyle McCord has accumulated 1,937 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, and just 1 interception this season. Tre'Veyon Henderson has rushed for 295 yards and 5 touchdowns, and Marvin Harrison Jr. has caught 42 passes for 766 yards and 6 touchdowns. Defensively, Ohio State has been remarkable, allowing only 10 points per game this season. Meanwhile, the Wisconsin Badgers stand at 5-2 this season, clinching a 25-21 victory over Illinois in their most recent game. Despite trailing 14-7 at halftime and 21-7 in the fourth quarter, Wisconsin made a remarkable comeback with 18 points in the final quarter. They outgained Illinois 379-323 and had a strong 10-17 third down conversion rate. The Badgers' 2 losses this season came against Washington State and Iowa. Offensively, Wisconsin averages 27 points per game with 216.6 passing yards and 180.4 rushing yards per game, while converting 43.4% on third downs. Quarterback Breeden Locke has thrown for 370 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Braylon Allen is a standout with 704 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns, while Will Pauling has caught 37 passes for 398 yards and 1 touchdown. The Wisconsin defense has allowed an average of 18 points per game this season. True freshman backup quarterbacks typically struggle against a formidable opponent like Ohio State. Breeden Locke has played only 1 game, barely completing 50% of his passes against Illinois, a team with the 10th best passing defense in the conference. Ohio State boasts the 4th best passing defense in the Big Ten, allowing a mere 159.6 yards through the air per game, making it the toughest secondary Locke has faced. The Buckeyes are eager to deliver a dominant performance to counter recent doubts, especially with Michigan excelling. Given the subjective factors involved in securing a spot in the college football playoff, Ohio State needs dominant victories. They possess the top passing offense in the conference, and Marvin Harrison Jr. recently excelled against a much stronger pass defense in Penn State. Wisconsin's pass defense ranks 8th in the conference and is unlikely to contain Ohio State's aerial attack. While Ohio State is coming off an impressive defensive display against Penn State, they must remain focused to avoid a letdown here. Although Wisconsin has been forced to rely on their backup quarterback and nearly lost to Illinois in their last game, they could potentially control the game's pace with their rushing attack. Braylon Allen is a standout running back, and Ohio State's rush defense is the weaker part of their defensive unit. Wisconsin may keep the game competitive for a half, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is expected to make significant plays, allowing Ohio State to pull away. So the Ohio State Buckeyes to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Ohio State has covered the spread of 17 points against Maryland and Purdue, staying under the total in both games. With Wisconsin playing a true freshman at quarterback, it's likely that fewer points will be scored. Ohio State has gone under the total in 6 of their 7 games, with the sole exception being a non-conference game against Western Kentucky in which they scored 63 points. Ohio State is expected to establish an early lead through the air and then control the game's tempo, dominating time of possession. While Wisconsin's defense ranks near the middle of the Big Ten in various statistical categories, Ohio State is unlikely to replicate the 60 points they scored against Western Kentucky. Ohio State's strength lies in their defense, and they are facing a backup quarterback in this game. The Badgers will likely need to employ max protection and a strong running game. Ohio State ranks highly in every defensive category, and that's why the under has been a recurring trend. The under is 3-0 in Ohio State's road games and 4-1 when Ohio State has been a double-digit favorite. The Buckeyes have gone under in 4 straight games and 6 of 7. They have limited their opponents to 17 or fewer points in every game. The under has also been successful for Wisconsin, with a 3-1 record in Badger home games. Although it might seem counterintuitive to take the under when you expect Ohio State to perform well, the trend suggests otherwise. Ohio State has been consistent in covering the spread and staying under the total all season, and we anticipate the same outcome in this matchup. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. North Carolina versus Georgia Tech. This Saturday night, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets will play host to the North Carolina Tar Heels at Bobby Dodd Stadium, Hyundai Field, in a pivotal Atlantic Coast Conference matchup. The Tar Heels are eager to bounce back from a recent surprising loss as they continue their quest for the Atlantic Coast Conference title. In contrast, Georgia Tech has suffered 2 losses in their last 3 games and is determined to secure a victory on their home turf. They've emerged victorious in their last 2 meetings and have won 4 of the last 5 matchups against North Carolina. However, this contest may pose a challenge for them. Merely a week ago, North Carolina was in the conversation for the college football playoffs, but those aspirations have been shattered. In their previous game against Virginia, the Tar Heels faced a game that shouldn't have been as close as it turned out to be. Their defense allowed 31 points, resulting in their defeat. Quarterback Drake May completed 24 of 48 passes for 347 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Amarian Hampton carried the ball 19 times for 112 yards. North Carolina has been averaging 36 points per game, but their defense has been conceding 22 points on average. Improvement on the defensive front is crucial in this upcoming game. Georgia Tech enters this matchup with a 3-4 overall record, but their recent performance on the defensive side was subpar. They allowed Boston College to score 38 points, resulting in a 15-point defeat. Haynes King led Georgia Tech's offense, completing 14 of 32 passes for 204 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Limiting turnovers is a priority for King in this game. Georgia Tech has been averaging 30 points per game, but their defense has allowed an average of 30 points. While the Yellow Jackets are likely to stay competitive in this game, it may not be enough for them to secure a victory. North Carolina has shown that they can face challenges from any team in the conference, and Georgia Tech has finally found a level of offensive productivity that allows them to compete with most opponents. North Carolina's defense, especially in the secondary, has room for improvement. The Tar Heels may still be reeling from their performance last week, and playing on the road against a team they've had difficulties with in recent years may prevent them from running away with this game. Historically, Georgia Tech has covered the spread in back-to-back games and in 4 of the last 5 meetings, indicating their potential to succeed in this matchup. So the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. North Carolina's games have consistently featured high-scoring affairs, and now, facing a Georgia Tech team with a balanced offense and an experienced, capable quarterback, points will be in abundance. North Carolina ranks 5th in total offense, facing a Georgia Tech defense that ranks among the nation's weakest. The Tar Heels' vulnerable secondary is likely to face challenges, particularly after conceding 31 points to a struggling Virginia team last week. The over has prevailed in 2 of the last 3 meetings between these teams, and it's highly likely that this matchup will be one of the highest scoring games in the Atlantic Coast Conference this weekend. Moreover, the over has maintained a perfect 3-0 record during home games for the Yellow Jackets. Conversely, the under has failed to hit in North Carolina's road games. Following their defense allowing 31 points to a less than stellar Virginia offense, the Tar Heels offense is likely to channel their frustration against one of the nation's poorest defenses, especially against the run. With a nighttime game in Atlanta, points are expected to flow freely on Saturday night. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Oregon State versus Arizona. In college football action, the Oregon State Beavers will face off against the Arizona Wildcats at Arizona Stadium on Saturday. Oregon State boasts a 6-1 overall record and is fresh off a bye week. Their last outing resulted in a victory against UCLA. On the other side, Arizona was also idle last weekend and currently holds a 4-3 season record after a convincing win over Washington State. The history between Arizona and Oregon State dates back to 1978 to 2019, with the Wildcats holding a series lead of 24-16-1. Arizona secured the win in their most recent encounter in 2019. Oregon State began the season with a flurry of impressive wins, including victories over San Jose State, UC Davis, and San Diego State. However, they stumbled with an unexpected loss to Washington State in their fourth game. Since then, they have regained their winning form, securing victories over Utah, California, and UCLA. In their recent showdown with UCLA on October 14th, Oregon State took a commanding 23-10 lead into halftime and maintained their double-digit scoring in each of the first three quarters. Quarterback DJ Uiagalelei threw for 266 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. Damian Martinez led the rushing attack with 90 yards, and Anthony Good contributed with 7 receptions for 87 yards as a receiver. Arizona, on the other hand, began their season with a 3-1 run, with wins over Northern Arizona, UTEP, and Stanford, along with an overtime loss to Mississippi State. Subsequent losses to Washington and USC were followed by a dominant 44-6 victory over Washington State in their most recent game. In that game, Arizona consistently scored double-digit points in every quarter. Noah Fifita passed for 342 yards on 3-4 of 4-3 completions, and the running game played a significant role in their success, led by Rayshawn Luke, Jonah Coleman, and DJ Williams. This game promises to be an entertaining spectacle, and I believe the Wildcats have enough offensive firepower to keep it competitive throughout. Their run defense should be able to slow down the Beavers, and since Noah Fifita took over as starting quarterback, the Wildcats' offense has shown remarkable improvement. I anticipate another strong performance from Arizona when they host Oregon State. Oregon State is undoubtedly a well-balanced team, with a competitive defense that gives them a chance in every game on their schedule. Damian Martinez is among the nation's top running backs, and DJ Uiagalelei has performed capably at the quarterback position. However, the challenge presented by Arizona, especially considering the Wildcats' unexpected competitiveness in the Pac-12, could make this a tricky spot for Oregon State. Surprisingly, Arizona has been competitive this season despite initial low expectations, boasting a 6-1 against the spread record in 2023. Their recent emphatic victory over Washington State adds to their credibility. In contrast, Oregon State faced a tough 38-35 loss to the same opponent earlier in the year. Additionally, Arizona is coming off a bye week, affording them time for recovery and game planning. Arizona holds a favorable against the spread record, including being 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games overall and 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 October games. On the other hand, Oregon State has been outstanding in covering spreads with a record of 12-2 against the spread in their last 14 outings and 9-1 against the spread in their last 10 conference matchups. The Wildcats have shown their mettle over the past weeks and deserve consideration as a formidable underdog, so the Arizona Wildcats to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Furthermore, Oregon State's offensive strategy doesn't emphasize a pass-first approach. This factor was likely a significant reason for DJ Uiagalelei's transfer to their program. The Beavers rely heavily on their running game and defense, ranking 21st in the nation for rushing yards, averaging 195.1 rushing yards per game. In contrast, Arizona has maintained a relatively balanced offensive attack, averaging 287.6 passing yards per game and 164.7 rushing yards. With their backup quarterback, Noah Fifita, at the helm, they may opt for a more conservative offensive strategy. The under has prevailed in 6 of Arizona's 7 games this season, and there's a good chance it will do so again. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.